everybody, welcome back to another episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be taking this mission style buffet and transforming it with some paint. This is a customer project and I can't wait to get this one done for her. So let's get started and take everything apart and get it ready. My name is Katarina and this is 5 Hearts Refinishing. Let's dive in. Okay, so the piece itself is in amazing condition. I don't have to do much other than just doing a scuff sand. The biggest problem or hurdle, I guess you could say, is every single surface of this piece is going to be getting painted, which means with the exception of the interior of the drawers, everything on the inside of the doors, inside of the piece, everything is getting painted. So that's a lot of priming and it's a lot of prepping. So I'm just going to take all the knobs off, all the hardware off, the doors off, the glass off, everything is coming off. And then I will show you how I started taking this out. I was just checking to see if it could come out off camera, and it does. So I will show you how I go about taking this out because I've already removed the back panel and this has to be kind of pushed out so that I can get in there to paint it.
For those of you that comment on my children being in the background or background noise, this is literally a working shop. I work from my home. I am a full-time mom and stay-at-home mom. I homeschool my children and my shop is literally in my home. So my children have free reign to come up and down and see me and speak to me when I'm filming, when I'm working at any time. What I present to you on screen is what I do every single day. So if you don't like it, I don't know what else to tell you. This is just me, and I'm here filming my customer projects to share with you all on YouTube. So take it or leave it. Put the volume on mute. I actually don't really care. This is just how my life is. It's very busy, it's very loud, and it's just very fulfilling. It's just a really awesome life, and I'm just here to share it with you all. So now what needs to happen is that inside panel where the wine rack would be needs to come out. Off camera, I removed the back panel because that will also be getting painted, so the entire inside will be getting primed and painted, which means this entire panel in the inside also needs to be primed and painted. The only way to get that out is to push it from the front. Alright, I've indicated on the piece itself what direction is up, so I know exactly where I'm going with this panel when it's done. Alright, time to get scrubbing. This is the right. So when I scuff my pieces, I like to use my Surf Prep sander. I find that it gives me really great control and does a fantastic job at cutting through just a little bit of that top coat to give me some surface texture for my primer to stick to. For my painting projects, I scuff sand everything with a 220 grit sandpaper. And for this particular project, because I was doing the interior as well, every single thing on this piece was scuff sanded. Interior, exterior, all the drawers, all of the shelving, and all of the inserts that were in there. And the entire wine rack was hand sanded with a 220 grit sandpaper as well in preparation for primer.
where I can begin priming the piece. Now, if you recall earlier in the video, I was saying that every single part of this piece is being painted. The client wishes to have the interior and exterior painted. So that's going to require quite a bit of primer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Bullseye from Zinsser. This is my go-to primer. It covers everything. It is water-based, and it is especially great for stains, odors, and you can use it with any top coat. So it's important to stir your primer first, making sure you get everything mixed up and scraped off the bottom. And then if you're using a sprayer like I am, then you're going to want to make sure that you filter, just to make sure that there are no chunks or anything like that that can get caught in your sprayer. So best thing to do is it's pretty thick, so you just have to be patient and let it strain through. Once that's done, then I go in and I add a little bit of water because it makes it a little bit easier for my sprayer to push through and an even consistency, and then the application is that much better. Primer, and what I like to do is once that first primer is on and dried, I just do the basic color with it, basic white, and then I go back over it with the second coat of primer with the actual color that I'm going to be painting on, because with a dark colored paint, to paint over white, just straight white, it can take several extra coats. So I want to prepare myself for that and just use my actual color mixed in with my primer, so then I'm not left with having to do so many coats of paint. So the client has chosen a beautiful blue, deep blue for her piece, and this is going to match her kitchen cabinets in her home. It is called Mysterious, and it's from Benjamin Moore. That's pretty. It's super pretty. It's a purple blue, and yeah, she just wants this piece to match her cabinets in her kitchen. It's going to be close by in her home. She doesn't want a different color of blue to contrast with the one that she has in her kitchen cabinet. So she chose this color. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir that in, add in a bunch of it, and change the hue on the primer, so that way I'm not left with, so I'm not battling that white. I'm just going to add a little bit more and then get ready to paint. So this is my favorite part of project time. This is post primer. So everything has been primed twice. Looks really good. Came out really beautifully. and it is time to get started with paint. So let's mix up the paint. I have to thin it just a little bit in order to get the right consistency for my sprayer. I just can't wait to get this color on this piece. It's going to be gorgeous.
Here's a hack. I like to use old coffee cans with plastic lids on them that I can just stab the feet into, and it allows me to move the piece around and spray everywhere all over it without losing it. I also wanted to mention that in between each coat of paint and primer, I scuff sanded with a 320 grit sandpaper to make sure that I laid down any of the little nits and hairs and things like that, dust that fly through the air as I'm spraying onto the surface. So I removed all of that between each coat of paint and primer, and that really makes a huge difference because it leaves you with a absolutely silky smooth surface when you're done. Okay, so what you didn't see me do, because I did it off camera, was put back in the middle insert where the wine rack would be. Basically, in a nutshell, how it came out is how it went back in. So I hammered it out from the front using a wood block, and to put it back in, I did the exact same process, and I was able to secure it, and there was no issues at all. So that went well for me, thankfully, because it was a really snug fit, and at one point I was really worried. But it did. It went in okay, and there was no issues. I ended up using Howard's Feed and Wax on all of the drawers, on the interior, and on the sliders as well, just to help them move a little bit better. And then I wrapped everything up and got all the hardware back on and put the door back on, and everything came together in the end. This mission style buffet went from drab to fab, and I absolutely love the new look. So does the customer. She is so excited to have this back in her home. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like this sort of content, please feel free to like, comment, share, do all the things that make this channel grow. And let me know in the comments below if you would have been bold enough to choose such a beautiful, bright color, or if you would have left it as is. Thank you to all of my subscribers. You guys are so awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Every time you comment and you share with me a little bit of yourself and what your goals are, or just what your current projects are, I love that, and please don't stop that. That's so fun. But thank you again to everyone for watching, and I will see you guys all on the next episode. Have yourselves a fantastic day. Bye for now.
Just where it was needed, gleaming black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing, faces merge and change, but your face remains the same. Swallows will be here by the door, and when we're finally sober, they'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt.